sunlight brings transparency, or it's said that sunlight is the best disinfectant. So what we are able to do on blockchain, we are able to prove exactly what happened. So there is no hiding spot for anybody. Sunlight transparency builds trust because regulators are able to see what VASP is doing. VASP is able to see who are their counterparties and what's their risk level. This is the best environment for players who want to build businesses the right way to have tools like Crystal to build that relationship and the bridge with the regulators.
AI can help a user see things quicker than they could by themselves, for crunching lots of data, for summarizing information and making people more efficient. The risk, though, is that the tools and products and services that we make are incredibly significant to an individual user's experience. We make products that are used by law enforcement to convict the guilty and exonerate the innocent. As those decisions get more extracted from an individual, is the balance still right? We hold a very, very powerful and a heavy burden, which is, if we aren't careful, we can really impact people's lives. We really, really think hard on that.
Machines use breadth and scale, and human judgment gives us conscience to decide where to focus. We have to operate at the intersection of both.
A very talented group of mathematicians and computer scientists were given the freedom and space to come up with a tool to try and help investigate those early days entirely on Bitcoin, learning as we went.
I remember that at one of the early industry conferences, one of the delegates told me very directly, the product that you're building is absolutely useless and no one's going to be using your tool. Today, with so many criminal cases successfully prosecuted using our platform, I think we've proven this guy very, very wrong. We've grown from a small group of people who held the knowledge to nearly 140 specialists positioned around the world.
The biggest surprise is just how driven people are to improve the world around them. They're not just doing this from a purely financial or personal gain perspective. When you speak to our team members, when you hear what drives them to get stuff done, what makes them clock in every morning and put in late shifts, it's very much driven by a sense of purpose and duty.
Bad intelligence isn't just a bug in the system. It leads to false escalations and investigations running in a completely wrong direction.
Criminals are often early adopters of new technology. They look for advantages in new products and spaces to try and take advantage of gaps in the legal system or lack of capabilities amongst law enforcement or investigations authorities.
I would say we are quite far away, between 5 to 10 years, for two reasons. One is, if you look at all the players in the crypto space, 3 years ago, almost 100% of them were unlicensed because there were no regulations or they didn't want to get licensed. But now we are moving towards the world where in every single country, there is some drive towards crypto regulation, and it'll take some time for these firms to get licensed and for users to have the same level of trust and security like they have in the traditional world. The second part is, whenever there is new technology that evolves, and we saw this in the internet world, there will be very, very large number of users who will come into crypto because of stablecoins. They're on the non-speculative side, and whenever large number of users come in, there will be naivety. They'll get hacked, they'll get scammed. So I think it's still a bit far away.
What I would love to see is our work becoming less retrospective and less about dealing with the consequences of the crime that had already happened, and more about preventing the crime from happening in the first place.
My single biggest bet, and we already see this playing out, right now, stablecoin is about $250 billion. My bet is that this will become at least 10, and if not 20 times bigger. That means it'll be worth about $2.5 trillion to $5 trillion in terms of market cap. And this will be all licensed play approved by the government, G20 stablecoin issued, but also a lot of local currency stablecoin being issued. The non-speculative part will dominate the volatile part, sometimes by 10:1. And as institutional players like banks, security companies, we will work very, very hard to make sure they stay safe and compliant in this area.